It is April 15th, 2019. This is Atlanta United FC Weekly, a Home Before Dark podcast.
We'll do it like the old milk jugs in the band. You gonna do the little scratchy washboard thing?
Hold on, let me get something to rub my abs with.
Rub my humble brag.
Yeah,
Can't remember last time I saw mine.
Yeah, me either. Me either. I am Tim Herb, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Mr. Kevin Bradley, across the way from me. You might not be able to recognize.
They can recognize me. It's not that different.
Might not be able to tell us apart at the moment.
Why? Because of the shirts?
Oh, the shirts. Well, hold on.
I was gonna say you kept the hat on. Are you trying to hide from it?
Hat on, hair off.
Skinhead, bald head, scallywag.
Ain't got no hair in back. What is it? Dressed up, weave up. Yeah, your hair is messed up. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Monday evening. As you guys do so very often, we are blessed to have you. Hashtag blessed to have you.
Yeah, sorry about the delay. It's been quite a struggle for us.
Yeah,
tonight.
It's weird. Yeah,
it's
running a little late. It's all right. Dan's not here. We'll still blame it on him.
Yeah,
it's just the two of us tonight. So you guys better buckle in. It's gonna be a fun.
I do not like
long
these
ride.
lights. I look even pastier than I already am.
I feel like I should
no
adjust
hair. This is gross.
What do you think is in the closet there?
This is gross. R. Kelly
Okay.
probably.
Whoa. Yeah, Joe. I guess Joe Johnston is the only person in the trap right now.
Could bear the weight, basically. Yeah. That's a good reminder, though. If you're subscribed, hit that bell icon or something. Maybe YouTube changed it up like they did for us with the UI on how to get live stream up and running. So that's always a possibility.
It's miserable. It's like if we don't start at 8 o'clock, it looks like nobody joins in the trap.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Well,
so what do you want to talk about, Joe?
Yeah. You said summer haircuts going on. Yeah, it's true.
Or just summer fallout.
Will you sign my yearbook, Joe?
Yeah.
Will you sign my yearbook?
Home
Before Dark yearbook.
Home Before Dark yearbook. Everybody submit a headshot. We'll just put it. Oh, that would be a pretty great idea. Like after the scarves go through, we need to do a Home Before Dark yearbook. Maybe we'll do that like year 5 or year 4, the HB4D. We'll do year 4. We'll do the yearbook.
Okay.
Everybody submits a headshot and their name, and at a meet and greet, we'll have a big yearbook signing.
Okay.
I've seen your quotes and everything.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. And we'll do like superlatives and all that stuff. Joe Johnstone saying when's the hangout? He's out. He said he left us a voicemail. Yeah, we got it. We got a handful of voicemails that we have to play for you guys towards the end of the show. If you're listening to us on iTunes,
which it seems like the majority of people will be, because this is just,
I don't know what to do.
This is terrible. Are you sure you didn't just post the link up just for one person? This is just an exclusive show for Joe.
Exactly.
There we go. We got a couple people.
Yeah. If you guys are listening to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and or a review. We will read it live on the show. We got 2. Yeah, in the past week we got 2.
I can go ahead and pull that up. So leave a review or rating on iTunes. We got, I think, like 4 ratings and 2 reviews. So did you get yours? Did you get pull up on your end?
Yeah.
You want to read the first one? I'll read the second one.
Yeah, it says, wow, they are fantastic. 5 stars from TB Shortstop 22. It says, great show for the common fan of the greatest football team in the Western Hemisphere. Nowhere else will you learn that Tata is a Red Bull and Frank is a protein shake. Let's go 5 stripes. I appreciate it. Those are deep cuts. It means you have to go to the end of the episode to catch what we're talking about, what he's talking about there. If you guys missed it, Dan just teed it up for an amazing conversation at the end of last week's episode with the comparisons of Frank DeBoer and Tata Martino.
Yeah, for all of our diabetic listeners, I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah. Insulin pumps abound.
Exactly. Next one. So good. 5 stars by Bama Football 121177. Love this podcast. Very knowledgeable. Even when Dan shows up, my weekly listen at work to lull the time pass. I'm assuming that means to let the time pass, but
yeah.
Maybe they're a lawyer.
I pushed it too far. I pushed it too far to me now. This
Good.
Is
I like that better.
No, I don't like this.
Just let it zoom in on your head.
I don't like this at all. Brian says the video quality looks better tonight. Just to piggyback off of Dan's app, since we don't have to do this on Google Hangouts tonight, so the video quality gets to be better.
Unfortunately for me,
I'm gonna go shirtless.
this is awful.
Is this the first hatless podcast?
I feel it looks better. My head, it looks weird being shaved, but it looks better without the headphones on it. How do I do
Put
this?
the headphones back
Can
on,
I just
Kevin.
do it like this? And like, just let the beat rock?
Yeah, just like Diplo. Just like Diplo. Guys, in the chat, in the trap, how are you feeling tonight after Saturday's win against New England, going up to Foxborough, going to that terrible Gillette Stadium, not hitting any fans with any errant balls?
Yeah, that was pretty terrible.
And coming away with a win. Frank DeBoer's first win in MLS play.
Yeah,
as an
that's
Atlanta
weird
United.
to say.
Yeah.
It's weird to say.
5 games into the season. Could be
Jumps
worse.
up 4 spots with 1 win, which is crazy. Just goes to show how much, not 5 spots. Jumped up, 3 spots, I think. What are we at, 9th right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So 3 spots with 1 win and 2 games in hand still. So things are looking up. Positive trajectory, to say the least.
We got some makeup games, or it's gonna be fun, man. It's there's a whole lot to discuss with regards to Saturday's game, and even more coming up, talking about the FC Dallas game. Which, if you guys are watching live right now, we don't typically do that. It's kind of hit or miss whenever we do the offside trap live on YouTube or on Google Hangouts. We will be doing it live tonight
with the 19th minute.
With the 19th minute FC Dallas podcast to preview the game coming up this weekend. Just a second, pull up the standings just to see where we stand, where everybody else is. All right, so DC is still in first, Columbus, Montreal, which is weird that Montreal's in third. It gives you kind of an idea of how this league is going right now, especially this conference. Toronto, with 2 games in hand, is in 4th. Philly is in 5th. Orlando in 6th. FC Cincinnati in 7th. And then Chicago, New York, we're in 10th. Sorry, New York Red Bulls, New York City FC behind us, and in New England. So Atlanta's got 2 games in hand on 6 out of the 7 playoff teams, and we're only 3 points behind FC Cincinnati and Orlando, and only 5 points behind Philly. So we're sitting pretty right now. We do have some makeup to go. I don't know when the midweek games start. I guess against Toronto, and then against Vancouver, we have a midweek game too after the first Orlando game. So,
oh wait, we got another update.
What's
I completely
that?
forgot. You got to pull up the scarf.
Oh, I can't share the screen.
Oh, because
we're not doing a hangout. Yeah. Oh boy,
this is just the worst.
This is the worst timeline.
This is awful. Let's just start over.
Yep.
Let's just start over.
Bye, guys.
That said, the scarf pre-sales are over.
To Brian's point, we will just tweet it out.
Yeah. I guess I can do that right now, right?
Yeah, you have it on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin will tweet it out, or
well, there's still a couple of voids left, which I was going to talk about. We got a couple of blank spots. So if you got any texts that you didn't get in your submissions for pre-sale, sound off in the trap. Again, one of the perks to listening and showing out live is to help us out in times of need. And we got a couple of little empty spots for text blocks that we need to fill up the
Kevin
text
didn't
on
gauge the space well enough whenever he was designing this. So
I gauged it just fine. Maybe if they all sold.
Whoa.
I'm blaming it on Joe Johnstone. He's like, oh, you guys thought you were going to have trouble selling them whenever we had 10 left, and then 3 of those 10 sold, and the other ones just laid stagnant.
Yeah,
but we
so
can't.
you guys still
can't hold up the other 43 people, so we're gonna just go ahead and fill it in with our own text.
Yeah, unless you guys who are listening right now go to bit.ly/HB4D scarf in the next couple hours and order one. We'll get it ready and we'll get it down into production. It's going into production tomorrow morning. We do have a couple spots open.
Yeah, and we got to get that out so that we can make sure they can get them turned around and we can get them shipped out to everybody. And for those of you that did go ahead and get your pre-orders in, we appreciate it. It's looking pretty awesome. I'm really excited about it. So, game, win, yes. Lineup. Should we start with lineup?
Yeah, we should start with lineup. It was kind of a mixed bag whenever we compared our projected lineups last week. You had Gressel, Dan. I think both of you guys had Gressel in there over Tito, but much to our surprise, and I had Tito starting. Much to our surprise, both of them did.
Yeah.
You want to look at that? So we had a back four of Breck Shea, Michael Parkhurst, um, Miles Robinson, LGP, and then you had a midfield of Rometty and Lorenowitz right in front of that back four. Nagby kind of playing a pushback or like a pushed up number 8.
Yeah.
Just ready to unleash him in his playmaking role. And then you had on the left, you had an inverted Tito Villalba up front. You had Joseph, and on the right, you had Julian Gressel.
Yeah. So I think the two biggest things maybe for me are one of which Nathan Lyons mentions. Did anyone ask why Barco didn't start? So no Barco in the starting lineup. And then obviously Breck Shea over at left back. That's been the biggest sort of turnover position so far. And I don't know that it's anybody's position to win or lose right now. It doesn't seem to be any clear-cut favorite by Frank de Boer between the injuries and circumstances that have happened over the first 7 weeks of the season. He's just rotated in some combination of Mikey Ambrose, George Bello, or Breck Shea. Right now, it seems to be Breck Shea's position for the time being until one of the other two step up or get healthy. But it just seems to be the biggest rotational challenge for Atlanta United right now.
Yeah, and I think Breck Shea might be a good place to start with this lineup. I mean, we could talk about Tito, and I think we will for a little bit. But first, that's the best that we should and could hope to see from Breck Shea, in my opinion. I think that he played pretty well positionally after he kind of calmed down at the beginning.
Yeah.
He was able to recover really well. He was very calm on the ball, which I thought was interesting. I feel like sometimes he's a little erratic on the ball and a little unpredictable, but he was very calm. And I feel like there's kind of a presence that Miles Robinson and Michael Parkhurst are bringing to that back line.
Yeah.
Where the two of them, they just exude confidence on a one-on-one, and they're able to play the ball out of the backfield as opposed to clearing it up every time.
Mm-hmm.
And Breck Shea, I just felt as the game progressed, he got better and better. Again, I said it's the best we should expect from him. I don't think it's what we should expect from him every game historically, what we've seen from him. But if we can get closer to this,
well, I will say
not such a drop off in his next start.
I will say that overall, the team had more balance in their position and attack this game than we've seen in weeks past. It was back to an even distribution of 30-30-30 across left, middle, and right as far as our possession and attacking went, which was pretty evident in the opportunities that were created and where the goals were scored, both of which were either the first one was set up on the left side and the second one scored from the left side, which we've been talking so much about how much Atlanta United's been leaning to the right side.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, you get two goals that either develop or get scored from that left side.
And surely that can't be my mistake. I mean, that has to be something that Frank de Boer realizes that teams are game planning for, right? They're going to be game planning for us to hammer down that right side. And even with the presence of somebody like Tito Villalba in the lineup or with Julian Gressel, you'd think that either one of those would be attacking that right side. But the fact that Tito is up there and just bringing that pace throughout the game on that left side, it really opened things up. I mean, how wide open was that field the entire game?
Yeah, for the most part, it really was. Especially with the midfield and central mid, I feel like there was a lot of open space there that could be exploited. So what do you think really took place this weekend?
It's funny
because originally you said that you thought that we were hitting the apogee in Frank de Boer's system, and I'm willing to maybe argue against that fact.
No, and it's fair. I think that it's weird. We talk about that combination or the disassociation of a play style, a system, and a formation, how those three things are not necessarily mutually exclusive. Or maybe I'm not using that right. But what I'm saying is like those things, they don't necessarily need to all be in sync or in lockstep. Right. One doesn't necessarily dictate the other. And I could see an argument for both sides. I think the mentality was still more along playing safer balls in that backfield. I think the playmaking was opened up by that. I think there was It's so, I don't know, man. It's weird because watching that game, I felt like we had the ball a lot more than we did, but we didn't even win the possession battle.
We did not.
But if they never brought that stat up, what would your mindset have been? I felt like we were dominating possession whenever they pulled that stat up. I
think that we were dominating possession in the counter, and it looked like Atlanta United of last year. This past weekend's game was not the approach to the tactics that Frank DeBoer had employed the previous 8 games he had played so far this season, in my opinion. I think there were moments of it, but overall, the opportunities that were created were not based on possession and passing and then somebody else creating an opportunity as a result of really tight passes and risk-adverse offensive strategies. It was through quick countering based on turnovers in the midfield. Almost every one of them with long tracking through balls to Joseph Martinez or Julian Gressel. What I will say is the thing that maybe Frank DeBoer's system employs is that Martinez is not the only person making opportunity and taking shots. And that was evidenced in this game where we saw actually Martinez had the same amount of shots as Julian Gressel did. They both had 5 shots. And then following up with that was Barco with 2, and somebody else had 2 as well. But I think we had something like 19 shots total. But overall, I think this was more of a hybrid that we've been looking to see Frank DeBoer employ, where we see players attacking and playing quick counters, high tempo offense in the style that they did last year, while also playing really strategic possession based football. So I don't think it was necessarily all Frank DeBoer's system. No. And I don't think it was a complete departure from it either. I think it really was that hybrid that we've all been kind of hoping and waiting for. And I think the other side of maybe what Frank's system is maybe pulling Martinez a little bit more back onto the field to hold up play, to open up some of these other lanes, which definitely happened. Like one of Gressel's opportunities actually happens from a distribution from Joseph Martinez, who had played further up the field to come up and receive a ball from Nagby, I think it was, in the midfield. So yeah. I think there are elements of Frank's system coming into play, but it seems to be one of the first games that I think that it's transitioned into this hybrid approach of what Tata employed last year almost exclusively and what Frank DeBoer has been trying to do so far.
I think that's fair. And to Brian's point, are we seeing a pragmatic turn from Frank DeBoer?
I don't know that it is a pragmatic turn as much as it is a willingness to let the players play without feeling like he has to have an iron grip on what they're doing, because we have skilled players that have found success through playing with each other, that he's allowing them to play maybe some of the things that they're comfortable doing without sort of restraining them in some way. Yeah. That maybe that's it.
But is that not pragmatic in some way, knowing what to take a practical approach and look at what the players were allowed to do last year and the success that they had, and being able to unleash them in a way.
It's just not a departure as much as I would say is. Yeah, you're right.
And one of the biggest standouts to me, and I'll say it over and over again, I disagree with you and Dan wholeheartedly pretty much every time this gets brought up about Tito being better as a super sub. I feel like he gets better as the game goes on.
I think he's definitely, the past couple of weeks proved that to me. I mean, he was incredible this weekend.
Who can you? I can't think of many players in this league who can tear up the field with the pace that he has for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's something to behold. It's
well, the thing for me was, I think Tito shined more after Barco came in, more so than he was prior. I mean, it was pretty early on. Barco comes in like the 18th minute. I mean, it's kind of hard to gauge that, but what that allowed Barco to do was to drift more. He wasn't isolated on the left wing like he has been in weeks past. Just a small sample size.
Much like who last year?
Exactly. Yes. And what we expected him to be doing more of this year, where he's doing more of the tracking around while Pitti is possessing. And I think that's kind of what we saw this weekend, where it was more Nagbe possessing and Barco drifting, but it allowed Tito to play that left side and hold that left line on the wing position so that Barco could move around, and then the ball gets distributed from that left side pretty consistently, because Barco is going to be a player that naturally wants to drift. We've seen that time and time again, and I think that's where some of the disconnect came last year with Barco on the left wing, was that he had wing backs that maybe were sort of falling short because they had a lack of support. Because Barco's talented, don't get me wrong, but he's talented because he's capable of drifting so much, and you want to find a way to embrace that. And I think that really showed through this past weekend.
Yeah, hopefully we see more of that. I mean, to your point, I mean, he is best. He's one of the best on this team, if not the best, probably, in finding space and getting the ball into that space. And it's just a matter of his maturation to, as you tweeted out, start taking shots.
And that's what we've been clamoring for, right? Like everything that we've talked about, and we can talk about whether or not Barco drifts too much, or, you know, if he's too quick to try to take a fall or something like that. All that stuff is pretty minor in my opinion, and somewhat situational. But the consistent thing with Barco that has been a frustration or a talking point for me, and I think for all of us here, has been his unwillingness to take a shot whenever he has the ball at the top of the 18 or in space. It's not going to go in 100% of the time, but you got to at least take shots to get the defense second guessing what you're going to do whenever you do possess the ball, rather than running headfirst into 2 and 3 defenders at a time and then just drawing the free kick. And then it's just sort of a coin flip on whether or not anything happens. We saw him really take the reins and produce multiple shots, one of which was a fantastic goal.
Yeah.
The likes of which I think is one of the, easily a top 10 goal for Atlanta United in the first 3 years right now.
I'd say so. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head if it's top 5 or not, but easily top 10. I mean, amazing goal.
And what about the second goal? No, it's a worldie. He scored an absolute amazing goal. And it's just a testament. I think I wouldn't say it's a testament to Frank de Boer, but there has to be some sort of level of confidence that's been placed on him at this point to just say, let it rip, just let it all hang out whenever you're out there. And I think that was kind of the message that was sent to the front four, as it were. Whenever you're looking at the chances that Tito and Gressel and Joseph and Barco took, and in the space and playmaking that they took, and just some of the chances that they took, it was refreshing to see them attacking so well and creating so many chances. Granted, we have to take this with a grain of salt because New England's not necessarily the best team in the East. Right. They're one of the bottom probably 4 teams in the East. Right. I don't know whenever things shake out if it's going to stay that way, but it was a good test. And people keep talking about the Barco not getting man of the match, but he got MLS player of the week.
That's just the Heineken thing, right? I'm pretty sure it's because he's under 21. He can't be man of the match because it's sponsored by Heineken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atlanta United, even their Twitter.
That's happened before.
Pitch. Yeah.
That has definitely happened before, and I'm pretty sure it's because he's under 21.
Okay. Another guy who is Miles Robinson. Has he hit 20? How old is he now? Playing like a grown-ass man is what he's playing like.
Yeah, no kidding. Go into the trap a little bit while you're looking that up. Let's see here.
Brittany has already got it to me. 22 years old, Miles Robinson.
On the topic,
like a grizzled vet.
On the topic of whether or not Barco's curler was a top 10 goal, Tito has 3 of the top 5. Well put.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely does. Pierce Hicks never understood why some fans quit on Barco. Young players take time to develop. He's going to get even better. Patience, fam. Totally agree. I think a lot of the frustrations with Barco were because people expected way too much. And I think that he suffered as a result of that as well. Both the fans having unrealistic expectations and then him putting a lot of that on his own shoulders. And then
the whole scandal. We're not going to talk about it much, but I think this definitely fed into what happened last year. I was very critical of him last year. I didn't give up on him necessarily. I just felt like he was trending in the wrong direction, and he had a couple things that, like we see now, that he could have really done with his game to elevate it. And I think that he's got to be starting at this point.
Yeah,
he's far more valuable to this team than Petey is and will be, I think, throughout the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's his position to lose at this point, right? I mean, that's what we talked about. And I think now we're in this position almost like we were last year, where we've got to start playing this game of who's in for who and when and all of that. So if we start talking about Barco being in a starting position and knowing that he wasn't this past weekend, who do you sit to put him in, Jeff?
Yeah, I think
so too.
I think that with a playmaker like Barco right behind in the hole behind those three, you can afford to bring Nagbe back,
especially because of how much he's been tracking back to help. Again, in true Miggy fashion, he plays a lot of defense for that sort of forward-looking midfielder.
Do we have any sort of update on Remedi? Because
I don't.
We saw what happened with the concussions.
Yeah.
The concussions, right? With Franco Escobar last year, Remedi could lose. He could miss a couple games.
And we don't know. This weekend. Have we heard any update on Pitty? Is he cleared to play? Because he didn't sub in, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, did he? How did I miss that?
Well, it was pretty forgettable. I don't know if you were setting that up.
No, I did not. I did not set that up. Did he come in really late or something?
Yeah, Kendrick said, he came in the 85th minute.
Okay. Yeah, I must have just looked away and then it was over. So I just completely missed that.
Joe Johnstone saying Petey's good, just not match ready after the wedding. Or Brian saying it was the long flight from Argentina, right?
Brittany S is saying that I guess DeBoer said that Petey isn't 100% yet after the hamstring pull. So I think that we may see him eased back in a little bit more, and maybe Petey is a player that just takes a little bit more time to get clicking. And if Eric Remedi and if Remedi and Jeff are sitting, that makes a really forward pressing Atlanta United, which I don't know that I agree with.
I don't know. I'm drawing the ire of a couple people, including Mourinho is available, saying, whoa, Petey had 2 dangerous plays in the short time he had. Okay, I want to see consistency. I know he's been in and out of the lineup. He's been hurt. He's been healthy. It's just, I'm still anxious to see where he's going to fit into this lineup. And I think he's going to have a tough road, an uphill climb to get into the starting 11, the way that attacking front 4 is looking right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Matthew Cody saying, sorry I'm late. Kevin looking good in GQ with that new hair cute.
False.
No.
False.
It's true.
False.
Show him that razor line.
I think it's already grown back.
Yeah. I think
Wait, my hair doesn't grow when I want it to. Then I shave and it's like, oh, we're ready to grow now, fam.
No, I get it. Mourinho is available, saying consistency is hard in 8 minutes. I get that. It's not this, but it's what we've seen from him on the field in the long stretches of play. I'm sure I'm being over. I'm just being dramatic.
So speaking of dramatic, I think that it's a good point that Brian brings up, which is, so now that we have a win, we're all cool with Frank now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it just completely went away, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and we said this before we got that win, that just as much as those losses or Atlanta United standing going into that New England game didn't have any bearing on what this season could be, and that it was still too early to call, this one win doesn't win us the season. I mean, yes, it looked great. Atlanta seemed to win in convincing fashion, but there's still another 28 games left in the regular season that we've got to get through. And I need to see more of that on a more consistent basis. So I think the jury's still out on Frank DeBoer. I still stand by the fact that regardless of what happens this season, I think we're a 4 to 7 place team. I think Frank DeBoer is here for at least 2 years at a minimum. And I think that overall the talent will prevail if we can manage to keep finding a way to employ this hybrid system, which I do think was done successfully this past weekend against New England.
I agree. And Joe Johnstone brings up a great point. He says, is the concrete starting 11 dead? I guess the idea of a concrete starting 11.
What was that?
Is the idea of a concrete starting 11 dead? To where we have a game in, game out 11 that we absolutely want and need to start.
No, and I think that's a really interesting dynamic that nobody really employs in the MLS, right?
Well, I mean, you see it occasionally, but
not even so much the starting 11, but we don't typically see, at least not even in MLS, but in leagues and in play internationally, you don't see many teams that are structured with that amount of depth that they can potentially make some really early subs on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Frank do that. If you've got that amount of depth, don't squander it on the bench.
Another 15 minutes up. Just
yeah, I don't want to see people coming in for 5 minutes, you know?
No, for sure.
Making those subs in the 60th minute or the 50th minute, you know, that forces the opposition to second guess what your tactics are going to be based on the staffing that you employ. That's a really interesting dynamic that nobody else has been able to do consistently.
Yeah, and I think to that point with the depth, it was interesting. I was watching the Liverpool-Chelsea game, and they made a point with Willian playing that it was his first time, I think, all season making 3 starts in a row for Chelsea. And he's a great player, and it just makes you think sometimes players got to be okay. They have to be okay with not starting.
Yeah.
And whenever you get to this level, you have a team of this magnitude, especially guys who have played themselves into like a TAM / designated player range, like Julian Gressel. To Brittany's point, you don't bench Julian Gressel. He's one of the few. He's one of the few concrete players. Him and Joseph. Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, there are only a few guys that I really see on this lineup that I can't do without on a weekly basis starting the game.
Do you think Miles Robinson has carved his way into that right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's our best defender. It's crazy to me, man. It's so fun to watch, too, because I think he had like one or two, maybe 1 or 2 missteps early in the game, I think on Saturday. But aside from that, he was incredible. The one-on-one defending that he does throughout the game is fantastic.
It's just going to be, there's so many of these moments or player-to-player substitutions that I don't know what we end up doing whenever everybody is healthy. And to Carl Segge's point, it's a great problem to have, but you got to think about the fact that we've also got Franco Escobar in waiting right now. You got George Bello that's still TBD at the left back position that you want to see grow and develop into that role. We mentioned Pitti and him coming back in on a regular basis. You get the Tito, Gressel. I mean, there's no lack of depth whatsoever in this lineup, and it's just a matter of staying healthy. That way you can make those choices, I guess, and those tough decisions.
Yeah. I feel so much better right now.
About the outlook on the season as a whole?
Yeah. I think so.
So where do you think right now? I mean, obviously, I can't say it enough, man. Don't go down the rabbit hole of like, oh, we won, everything's great. I agree with you. I think I do feel a little bit better that it's like, okay.
No, it's like
you can breathe a little bit because
point,
it's not.
To your point, it's a proof of concept.
You know, he stood up and managed too. That might have been the difference.
He's been doing that for pretty much the entire season. He heard you that first time. He's like, oh shit.
No, he definitely sat down a couple more after that. He was sitting down in the rain. I saw him.
Oh my
God. That's all I'm watching for now. Just motherfucker.
Stand up. Stand and deliver. What other takeaways do you have from this game? I mean, I thought that he did a great job managing. I mean, when you take a look at even the substitution of Barco, in hindsight, it seems like it was a no-brainer because of the way he played. How often would you have seen somebody like, would you have seen Tata Martino try and do a like-for-like substitution?
What do you mean?
Put in a midfielder. Put in a true...
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that... Where's Kevin Kratz been?
I don't know. I think I saw him playing with the twos a couple of weeks ago on 90s night. I think he played on the twos.
I was gonna say, who was even?
It's been a minute though since he's been on the field.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess we didn't necessarily.
Kendrick thinks he's injured. He says.
Yeah, I guess we didn't necessarily have a like for like substitution, so maybe it was a substitution of necessity.
Joe Johnstone mentions Asiadu, but I think that he is officially just signed to the twos, right? He doesn't have a contract with Atlanta United.
I don't know.
Does
Dion Pereira, who's been playing with the twos, was on the bench this weekend. So
yeah, I feel like I remember something about Asiadu not having an Atlanta United contract because of international slots or something. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
I could definitely be way off on that.
Isn't it kind of ridiculous? Not to get too far off subject. But isn't it ridiculous that if you draft a guy from the American college system,
he still takes up an international
slot? Take up an international spot?
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Am I boring you, Kevin? Am I boring you?
You're frank to boring me.
Oh, God.
No, I'm just exhausted, man. I'm just always going.
Yeah. Yeah, Kratz is out with a calf injury. Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, any changes on your expectations for this team the rest of the season? Where do you think that they fall right now for you still?
You're talking about in general for the rest of the season?
What were playoffs, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I don't.
Standing going into the playoffs?
Playoffs are really never in doubt for me. I don't think we hit the top three. I think we talked about that last week. I think the top three are kind of locked between Columbus, DC, and then
DC
Toronto.
Stumbled a little bit this past weekend.
They still got the win though, didn't they? On Saturday?
I thought they took the loss this past weekend. I could definitely be wrong though.
No, DC beat Colorado 3-2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if we just want to go through the scores real quick. Seattle beat, so Toronto lost. Seattle's looking really dangerous. To somebody's point in the trap, I'm trying to remember who it was, saying that the West is ridiculous right now. Richard Gordon, OG Richard Gordon, which is true. I mean, the West is freaking ridiculous. It's LAFC, Seattle, LA Galaxy. I love Zlatan, but man, I hate when LA Galaxy are doing well. And they have a game in hand, and they're only 4 points from first. And then Houston FC Dallas in fourth and fifth, and coming up against FC Dallas.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kevin Gorham talking about positivity said that's what people said about Seattle when they were in last and they ended up in second place.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Speaking of Kevin Gorham, we got some voicemails.
We do have voicemails.
One of which from him. I want to pull these up real quick here.
Do you want the aux cord? You want me to pass you the aux?
No, I'll just do the same thing. Always do here. Nope, I did it wrong.
He did it wrong, guys. Did it wrong. If you guys do want to call, leave us a voicemail. Our voicemail line is always open. We always want to play your thoughts towards the end of the episode every week. 678-827-3297. Leave us a quick voicemail on there and we'll play it out on the show.
Hey fellas, Kevin Gorham again. What's up, fellow Trapsters? Long-time listener, second-time caller. I got three things wanted to talk about. Number one, how sexy is an inverted Tito on that left-hand side? Might have been my favorite part of the formation we saw this weekend. On number two, what do you guys think is the actual problem building up on the left side of this team? You know, building up an attack. Do you guys think it's the play out of the back? Do you think it's Brex, not knowing the tendencies of the other players? Or do you think it's actually more the connection between the midfield and the front? And third, this Miles Robinson guy might actually be good at soccer. All right. Anyways, I'll hang up and listen. War down stripes.
War damn stripes.
No, more down stripes. That's what the translation is.
Translation.
More down stripes.
More down stripes.
So Yeah,
we saw more chance creation on the left side.
We
this
definitely
weekend.
did.
We did, to your point,
and an even distribution across all three areas of the field, left, middle, and right. So I think that it'll just come with time as we start to build up some consistency on the left back position. I think that's been the left side has had the biggest rotation in personnel between Barco or an inverted Tito or Pity or whoever's on that left side. Left back has been same exact deal with George Bello or Breckshay or Mikey Ambrose or whatever it is. So I think as we start to build up some consistency in the players, I think the consistency in the run of play will follow suit.
Yeah. Breckshay needs to go he needs to go melt down. I'm not going to go there. We need more glue. And I think, like you say, I think time and playing together, building up that chemistry and having that. I think even just having a consistent left back more than just anything else ahead of it or ahead of him is the most important thing in creating those chances on the left and getting that consistency, building that chemistry. And to his point, man, that inverted Tito is sexy as hell.
It's pretty great
because he can cut in. They have to be cognizant of his ability to cut in on the left side of the box to rip a shot in. And then he can exploit it like he did in that first goal. And he can just take it to the touchline and go pass it down. A little Gressel special floor cross.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
We actually had I'm really flattered. It's the first time we've ever had a manager call us.
Oh, no.
I'm really excited. Yeah. He's heard us talking. I don't know that Frank DeBoer himself, guys.
This is Frank DeBoer. I'm very happy to get the win. Anytime Dan wants to come to the pitch, I'll let him come to the pitch. And I love that little whistle, that little tutu whistle. Anyway, very excited. We have come over the hill. We win everything now.
I have no idea who did that.
That little choo-choo. I have no clue who that was.
Dan can go to the pitch.
I'm assuming it's that Frank DeBoring account on Twitter.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's pretty great.
Oh, man.
And last but certainly,
Brian said didn't have enough uhs. Hey, man, English is his second language. Lay off Frank DeBoer.
And last but not least.
Good evening, gentlemen. Real quick, had a few questions for you. Coming off the high that was the win last week. What do you think our total points, our cumulative points will be? You know my take. It's going to be 90 points or bust. On top of that, how many wins, losses, and draws do you think we'll end up with this season? Hope all is well. Hope to tune in soon. Bye.
I like Kevin Gorham's point. Why do we all sound the same on this phone? Brittany has call the phone line. Make sure this isn't broken. She calls. It sounds the exact same. Oh, we did actually have an addendum on.
To Joe's point
on Joe's call here. Let's see.
Oh God. Yeah.
Come on.
So, addendum to my previous message, 92 points or bust. See you in a bit.
I don't know. I mean, what did we lock in at the beginning of the season? Who knows? Right? I think we end up with 60. 50. 55.
55? you know what it was.
I'll say realistically 57.
I say we break 60. I think we'll break 60.
Yeah. Wins, I don't know. I don't know these things, man. What do we got? 27 games left? Let's say we'll win 18.
27 games left.
Yeah.
We play 34.
Huh?
We play 34 games.
We've played 6, right?
We've played 5.
No, we've played 6.
We've played 5 games. We're 1, 2, and 2.
29 games left. Say we win 19. How many do you think?
It's hard to put a number on it.
fucking say a number then.
And I'll go one more. 20.
Okay. Good enough. 29 says Joe.
So we win 20 out of the next 29 games. That's going to be fucking tough.
Yeah.
I don't know that happens.
Where do we end up in the standings? I think I still stand by that 4 to 7th place. And I'm thinking it's probably somewhere in that 5th or 6th range. I don't think we're at the bottom. And I don't think we're on the upside of that. If I had to say final standing, I'd say 5th.
I'll put us at 4th.
Okay. Fair enough.
Coming off of MLS Cup, you know who's having a way worse hangover than we are? Oh my God.
It's real bad.
Yeah. Portland is yet to win a game. They've taken 1 point away from any game this season out of the 6 that they played. They're 5-1 right now. And then another loss to Dallas. Our opponent coming up on Saturday. Any idea what to expect from this Dallas game?
Yeah, we'll end up being ahead, but then they'll score 2 goals at the very end. And then the fireworks will go off.
But guess what? Miles Robinson gets to play from the beginning, so we don't have that substitution to make in the back.
That's true.
That's what happened last year, right?
He's got some redemption on his mind.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's definitely got to redeem himself. This is a team that lost 2 of their best attacking weapons from last year. I've yet to watch them this year. So they lost Maxi Arruti, they lost Roland Lamont, and
I'm thinking every one of these predictions is just a wild card because I haven't had time to watch anybody else play. I'll say a 2-1 loss.
So Dallas is 4-2-1. Just to give you an idea who they've played, who they've beaten this season. They drew against New England in the first game of the season. They beat LA Galaxy 2-0. They lost to Columbus, so that's a quality loss. They beat Colorado. Yeah. They put 4 up against RSL, beat them 4-2, which is pretty solid. They lost 2-1 to Philly at Philly, not necessarily a bad beat. And that game against RSL was in Salt Lake City, where they won 4-2. And then they have a win from this past weekend against Portland. I mean, if you look at their losses, 2-1 away in Philly, 1-0 away in Columbus. This team apparently
2-2 draw.
This game looks like they have quality.
2-2 draw. 2-2 draw. What are you thinking?
No, I think we keep riding high.
All right.
I think we win another 2-0, another 3-0 game. I think we keep a clean sheet. I really like the way the defense played on Saturday. Even whenever Teal Bunbury came in, he kind of injected some life into the team. And we still, after 1 or 2 chances, we shut him down and we kind of kept them at bay the entire game. And I think Nathan Lyon's point, he said new turf.
That's true, but I think that just makes my point. Because I've heard that the turf is slower. The new turf makes the ball slower. That's what I heard. You heard it in Slack. Somebody said it, so I believe it.
Oh, I snoozed the Slack a couple times this weekend because I was recording games, trying not to get it spoiled.
Yeah, from what I've heard, it's a new turf than what it's new turf, obviously overall, but it is a new turf manufacturer too. So it's completely different than the turf that they were playing on last year.
Yeah.
Hey, I like Nathan Lyon's point though. Recycle the old turf and make some more shirts. Can we fucking get some more parlay kits?
They have extra smalls and smalls. They still have both of those left.
It's so bad. It was gone. I've had my notifications on forever, and they didn't even say they were on sale. They did a tease,
and then all of a sudden sold out.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, fuck y'all. That was awful. All sold out. Then I guess they did another. Did they do another thing like show up at 4 a.m. in the morning Saturday to get them at the team store or some shit?
I don't know.
I think it's up on DH Gate right now, so that'll be what I do this year probably.
It's on what?
The DH Gate or whatever. You get all your kits from Thailand. The knockoff versions.
Oh, I just go through eBay, whoever those people are.
Now DH Gate's the source.
I feel like, should we get some Real Sociedad jerseys for our
We should.
soccer or our station soccer team?
We should definitely do that. That'd be really
Whatever
tight.
team has the most crazy Asian characters on the front of it.
Yeah, we should definitely
Bright
do that.
orange.
I'm excited about soccer in the streets, man.
Yeah.
We actually got a league going.
Or station soccer.
Station soccer, yeah.
I guess they're same thing, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. Thinking about Saturday, we're gonna be out there tailgating at some point.
Yeah, that's the hope. Just talking to Katie, my neighborhood's having a Easter egg hunt that morning, so maybe out there a little later
On a Saturday?
Yeah. I don't know.
What kind of secular bullshit is this?
I don't know what's going on, dude. I'm gonna do my best. I'm doing my best, Tim.
Heathens.
Doing my best.
Heathens.
So yeah, we'll try to be out there in some capacity. I think Joe asked about a meet and greet. One is due here soon. So we got to figure out something to do with that.
Do they allow Arby's in the stadium yet?
We
Or do they
the
have
meats.
Arby's in the stadium?
See, this is why I wish you had the preview for the scarf. We do have the meats, and it is on our scarf.
Did you tweet it out?
No.
Oh.
I didn't want to tweet it out with it half full. I did get a good recommendation, which is stars greater than shields. I like that.
Oh, I like that too.
Somebody submitted H before D greater than MOTS, which we let that roll. Sorry, Eric.
Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Eric.
Ooh,
I like Brian's hashtag Arby's for MBS. We gotta get Arby's is based in Atlanta. How do they not have an Arby's inside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Seriously. Agreed.
This is garbage. This is garbage.
But yeah, so scarf pre-sale, get them in before. We'll just say the cutoff is like 11 a.m. tomorrow, whatever that day is, April 13th. It's tomorrow the 13th, 14th, 15th.
Tomorrow's the 16th. You are losing track of time, boy. All right, just run down quick of MLS outcomes from Saturday. Columbus lost 1-0 to Montreal. What? Who I'm guessing Piatti got on the score sheet for them? Nope, it definitely wasn't. Houston beat San Jose. Big shocker there. Seattle beats Toronto. Minnesota and NYCFC open up Allianz Arena or Allianz Stadium 3-3. Dallas, the aforementioned Dallas Portland game 2-1 Dallas. DC 3-2 over Colorado. RSL beat Orlando. All is right in the world. LA Galaxy, or should I say Zlatan, beat Philly 2-0. He had both of the goals. And then Carlos Vela and LAFC beating Cincinnati 2-0. Definitely helping us out. Both of those games helping us out to kind of climb the rankings. And then last but not least, the game from last night where you had Sporting KC and New York Red Bulls drawing 2-2, but obviously overshadowed by the antics, absolute immature, dangerous action.
I don't think anybody's going to condone that.
Luis Robles made a joke of it. I don't know. Did you see his quote?
No.
He said something to the effect of, and you guys can find the quote. I'm not that far off base. He's obviously remorseful about what happened, but that's what you pay for, or that's the risk you take whenever you pay for a front row seat or something like that.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah, it's not the smartest thing to say, especially from a veteran in there.
No.
Yeah, it's a really idiotic thing of him to say. Kaku, Jay Riddle got on his horse last night and was like, permaban, get him out of this league. I don't want him in my league. What do you think is an appropriate action? Somebody brought up, I can't remember who it was that only got a 2 or 3 game suspension for nailing another player with a dead ball situation like that in the face.
Oh, I didn't know that happened. So recently?
I think it was a couple of years ago. Shit. Somebody remind me in the trap, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, you automatically get a 1 game suspension for a red card.
Yes.
So I think anything short of, I think 5 games is probably reasonable. And a fine.
Well, yeah. I think 5. Do you remember we used to play ass?
What?
You don't remember playing ass at like soccer practice?
No.
It's like playing horse, but instead of like trying to make the same shot, it was juggling. And if you got ASS, you had to go. Kevin Gorham said put Kaku in goal for butts up, where his face is where his face is his butt.
What?
No, you don't remember playing.
I remember playing.
Brian's calling it butts up. We used to call it ass in high school, in college. Anyway, you would get into the goal.
Did. You're the only one playing that game.
Matthew, are you still watching?
I remember you trying to touch my. I remember you trying to get it. That's a lie. Everybody knows it's the other way around. Ain't nobody buying that. Oh, I remember like whenever we go out on the fields, like face down, ass up. That's that game that we all did on the field. That one?
It's like wall ball, you dumbass.
Paul Wall?
Like
yeah. Oh, I know. Now we're chopping screwed.
People's champ. We have to do another one of these shows tonight.
Paul Wall. Yeah, you're right.
Midwestern thing. We went to school in South Carolina.
Yeah.
No, but you missed.
Oh,
juggling
I remember
the ball
when you were getting ass. You're right. You were getting so much ass, Tim. You were getting ass on the soccer team. You're right. I remember
it's time
you
to end this.
I remember you
show.
playing ass all the time in high school. Oh, you meant pulling ass. Remember when we would pull ass because we were on the soccer team? We were pulling so much ass because we were on the soccer.
We should show people the picture, our soccer pictures from junior and senior year of high school.
Yeah, we definitely
Oh my God. Brittany S is wondering what's going on right now. I'd like to know the same thing. It's the witching hour.
You don't remember? Brittany, you never played that game? Did you never play that game in high school?
I am glad people in the trap at least know what I'm talking about. Butts up is, I guess, what you call it.
Oh, heads up, 7-Up.
Heads up, 7-Up.
That was the best one. All right, for real though. Thanks for checking us out. We got the offside trap coming up in 15 minutes. Be sure to hit that bell icon if you subscribe. Smash that like button. Hit us up with a review or rating on iTunes to hear it read aloud on the show. Scarf pre-sales are still up until about noon tomorrow, right around there, but we got to get it out for production. We'll at least tweet out the final version. We have the meats here at Home Before Dark. Just start co-opting that. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you.
As we like to say on this show, ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
As always.
I'm loving it.
As always, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Be home before dark.